So, let's talk about purpose. You ever feel that crushing pressure to find your purpose? You know, that one big thing you're supposed to do? It feels like this giant, impossible question, right? Well, what if I told you there's a practical, step-by-step way to build it, not just hope to find it? All right, let's get into it.
Okay, first things first, we gotta bust a myth. Society just loves this story, right? This idea that you have a single lightning bolt moment of clarity and poof, your life's mission is revealed. But you know what? That's not really how it works for most of us. The key, the big reframe here, is that purpose isn't something you just stumble upon, it's something you construct, piece by piece. And thinking about it that way, man, that is so much more empowering.
And that really is the big question, isn't it? If it's not about just sitting around waiting for some sign from the universe, what are the actual first steps? What do you do? Well, in this explainer, we are going to break down a really cool framework and a 5-step action plan to get you moving from feeling kind of adrift to actually moving with intention.
So let's just tackle this myth head on. That pressure to have it all figured out, it's so real. And when that magical moment of clarity just doesn't show up, it is so easy to feel lost or like you're falling behind everybody else. And I want you to know that's a completely normal feeling. But here's the thing, it's based on a totally false premise.
And this just illustrates the difference perfectly. We're sold this clean, simple Hollywood-style story, but the reality, it's much more, well, human. It's a journey of trial and error, of self-reflection, and yeah, a bit of messiness. And that's okay. The key is that this messy process is something you can actually do, something you can engage in, not just wait around for.
Okay, so to guide us through this whole process, we're going to need a map. And there's this fantastic one that comes from Japanese philosophy. It's called Ikigai, and it is going to be our blueprint for building a life of real meaning. At its core, Ikigai is, well, it's your reason for being. It's your reason to get up in the morning. And it's not just about what makes you happy. It's about finding a real sense of balance and fulfillment. The whole framework breaks this down into 4 super essential elements.
First up, we've got the first circle. This is all about what you love, your passion. We're talking about the things that just light you up, you know? The activities where you totally lose track of time. This is the core of what genuinely interests you, not what you think you should be interested in.
All right, building on that, the second circle is all about what you're good at. This is your profession, your skills. What are your talents? What abilities have you worked to build up? This is about what you can really master and do with excellence.
Okay, the third element is where we connect your personal world to the bigger picture. It's about what the world needs, your mission. What problems out there really bug you? What contribution can you make, whether it's big or small? This is what gives your work a sense of impact beyond just yourself.
And finally, the fourth circle. This one's all about practicality. It's what you can be paid for, your vocation. Look, you have to be able to sustain yourself, right? This is what grounds your purpose in reality, making sure it can actually be a viable part of your life. So here's the magic. The crucial point is this. True, sustainable purpose, your Ikigai, it isn't in any one of these circles by itself. Nope, it's right there in the middle, at that sweet spot where all 4 intersect. What you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. If you miss just one of those, you're going to feel that imbalance, that sense that something's just not quite right. Okay, so that framework is awesome in theory, right? But how do we actually apply it? This next section is where we get super practical. We are moving from the what to the how, with a 5-step action plan that you can literally start today. So here they are, the 5 steps we're about to walk through. I want you to think of these as the building blocks for finding the center of your own Ikigai diagram. Each one is going to give you a super crucial piece of the puzzle. All right, step 1. It's simple, but it is so powerful. I want you to forget trying to think your way to purpose for a minute. Instead, pay attention to your body, to your energy. For just 1 week, keep a list. What tasks give you energy and get you into that flow state? And what tasks just leave you feeling totally drained and exhausted? This right here, this is your most honest data.
Next up, step 2 is to lower the stakes. Seriously. The pressure to find your one true passion can be completely paralyzing. So instead, just follow your curiosity. You know, passions often just grow out of these little curiosities that we decide to explore. So ask yourself a few questions. What do you find yourself reading about on a Saturday? What problems in the world just really bother you? And what do your friends always ask you for help with? Your curiosities are the clues.
Okay, step 3.
This one is so important. Your values are basically your personal constitution. They're your non-negotiables. Think about it. If your top value is, say, stability, but you're chasing some high-risk startup dream, you're just going to burn out. It's inevitable. So defining your top 3 non-negotiables, that acts as a filter for every single decision you make. It helps make sure you don't end up in a role that creates this massive internal conflict.
All right, step 4 is where we start putting the pieces together. It's time to find your intersections. Look at your list of energy givers, your curiosities, and your core values. Where do they overlap? You know, if you love teaching and you happen to be really good at data analysis and you think the world needs better financial literacy, could there be a path there? The idea is just to brainstorm 3 to 5 potential combinations. No judgment, just get the ideas out.
And now for step 5, which is honestly the most critical step of all. You cannot find your purpose just by thinking about it. You have to act your way into it. So instead of that romanticized dream of, quitting your job to open a bakery, you start with a real-world prototype. Maybe you sell your stuff at a farmer's market on the weekends. What this does is it shatters the fantasy and it gives you real data about whether you actually enjoy the day-to-day reality of the work.
All right, finally, let's shift our whole perspective a little bit. Finding your purpose, it's not a one-time event that you just check off a list. It's not some final destination you arrive at. It's an ongoing practice.
And honestly, that should be a relief, right? What gives you meaning when you're 25 is probably going to be different from what gives you meaning at 50. And that's okay. As you change and learn and grow, your Ikigai will naturally evolve right along with you. The goal isn't to find the one perfect answer for the rest of your life. The goal is to stay aligned with what's true for you right now.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. What if we just threw out that big, scary question? What is my purpose? What if we just got rid of it entirely? And what if we replaced it with something smaller, something more actionable, and something infinitely less intimidating? What if this whole journey is just a series of interesting experiments? So instead of asking, what's my purpose, just ask yourself, what can I prototype next?